the Egyptian famine was announced through dreams to the king of Egypt. But Egypt's magicians and wise men could not interpret them. They could not constitute them in a stable way. But Joseph did. We call this noematic realization the Joseph principle. It is the moment a crisis starts being a disaster and starts being a plan. And more importantly, a plan that respects the local context, the local life world. It is the turning point of many, where we stop being terrified, anguished by a phenomenon, and begin governing it. This biblical story is not a singular or isolated event. It embodies a deeper structure of history. Whenever existing interpretive horizons fail, a new grammar, a new framework of meaning must emerge, or civilization may collapse. From the Egyptian famine to the Irish famine, every major agricultural crisis is first and foremost a crisis of meaning. The phenomenon arrives before the noema capable of interpreting it. History does not move forward through events alone. It moves through the framing of meaning, the Joseph principle. It is the moment when the crisis becomes interpretable and therefore actionable. Today, a major crisis in agriculture is climate change. The climate is giving us signs, unintended consequences, more intense and uneven precipitation patterns, rising average temperatures, shifting seasons. The climate change phenomenon entered the global scientific and political agenda at the first World Climate Conference in Geneva in 1979. And yet, today, we are still struggling to stabilize its meaning through successive phases of international policy development, each one a noetic act attempting to constitute a governable climate noema. Following the financial crisis of 2008, when food prices exploded, the UNFCCC, established during the Rio Convention of 1992, performed an epoche. It expanded climate mitigation responsibility. Developing countries became agents of nationally determined greenhouse gas contributions. This period culminated in the Paris Agreement, which marked a decisive noematic shift, a global commitment to both mitigation and adaptation. It explicitly integrated agriculture into national climate strategies. A year later, the Food and Agriculture Organization, the FAO, performed its own epoche. It suspended fragmented debates to recognize one integrative concept addressing both climate change and food security. The concept that emerged from this suspension is climate smart agriculture, CSA. CSA was not born in a moment of conceptual peace. It emerged amid conflicting intentionalities about sustainable agricultural development. CSA did not simply introduce new techniques, new ways of managing the land. It attempted to constitute agriculture under a new horizon of intelligibility by introducing three objectives, a triple horizon of intentionality. First, productivity, which becomes the noema of fear. Can we still feed the world? Second, adaptation, which becomes the noema of survival. Can we endure the change? Third, mitigation, which becomes the noema of responsibility. Can we stop being the cause? When we examine these three CSA intentionalities through the lens of the PCM framework, plurality, convergence, multiplicity of the noema, important questions emerge as convergence of practices intensifies and corporate-led innovations begin to dominate. Are we fostering resilience or drifting toward a monoculture of meaning? When convergence intensifies through digital agriculture, precision metrics, and algorithmic management, does it generate sustainability, or does it quietly prepare the conditions for collapse? We must avoid the phenomenological trap, the head in the cloud approach that seeks to optimize the field through exogenous innovations, creating a convergence of meaning that can lead to a technological monoculture. When the Joseph Principle gears itself toward policy-oriented targets, when we fixate on indicators, carbon credits, and yield thresholds, we risk becoming trapped in horizons we cannot fully constitute. We hit the target, but do we still understand the field? As we build digital twins and climate-smart frameworks, we must maintain a reflexive posture. We must ask, are we practicing the Joseph Principle, turning crisis into a plan that respects the local life world? Or are we simply managing the data? From the Adamic fall to today's climate-smart agriculture, every transformation of the field is a transformation of consciousness. Climate-smart agriculture and its underlying practices, tools, and technologies is not the final shift in agricultural evolution. In the next episode, we will reflect on the next unfolding of agricultural evolution, with a focus on the farmers' resistance to digital agriculture technologies and the needed intentionalities and noema that may soften this tension and move us toward the next agricultural horizon, one inscribed with the signature of phenomenology. Thank you for watching. My name is Paul Salicort, Cogito.